I worked in both capitals, in Harrisburg and in Washington, D.C. I worked in the United States Senate, in the very office currently occupied by Senator Casey. I was down there during the first Republican Revolution, the first time we took over Congress in 1995, and fought the good fight to restore freedom to our country. And then after a while, I got out of politics. My wife and I have our own business in Harrisburg. We employ people. I've got to make a payroll every 2 weeks. I know how hard it is to run a small business. I do it every day. And I've been minding my own business over the past decade. And then came Barack Obama. Over the past couple of years, President Obama and Senator Casey have used the financial crisis of 2008 as an excuse to preside over the largest and most intrusive expansion in the size, scope, and power of the federal government since the New Deal. From their bailout of these failed Wall Street investment banks, to their takeover of private companies, to passing the government stimulus spending bill where they borrowed nearly $1 trillion to protect jobs in the government sector, while millions of Americans in the private sector lost theirs, to their bailout of the unions, and finally to what I refer to as the abomination known as Obamacare. President Obama and Senator Casey have launched an assault on our liberties, on our freedoms, on our free enterprise system, and indeed the very American way of life. And look at the results. We have a $15 trillion national debt. That is nearly $50,000 of debt for every man, woman, and child in America today. My wife and I have 4 children. That's $50,000 of debt. That's $200,000 of debt for them. And what did they do to deserve this debt? Nothing. They were born into this country. That is a shame. We have the highest, longest sustained unemployment rate since the Great Depression. Now the highest poverty rate in several decades. Millions of Americans are out of work and are desperate to find a job to provide for themselves and their families. This is the Obama-Casey agenda. This is what is bankrupting America. And this is why I feel called and compelled to leave my private life again, to re-enter public life, to go to Washington, D.C. and stop the Obama-Casey agenda in its tracks. I want to roll it back, repeal it, defund it, and rescind it, starting with the abomination known as Obamacare. And I want to replace it with freedom. I want to get back to the first principles of our founding fathers: freedom, liberty, independence, self-reliance, personal responsibility. You know, I want to restore freedom to America. Because at the end of the day, isn't that what America is all about? Freedom. Freedom works. Let's try freedom once again here in America. Thank you. God bless you. God bless America.